right, Miss Margie, aka Mom, thanks for joining me on the camera. I'm just going to go through my questions so you can share your experience on the 2030 Fast Track. So the first one I have for you is, what were your results?
Oh, my results. There were lots of them. I lost 16 and a half pounds, 12 and a half pounds. I'm sorry, I'm jumping ahead. I'm still on the program. I lost 12 and a half pounds, 16 and a half inches. I also, I'm a type 1 diabetic and I have severe rheumatoid arthritis. I've had these for years and years and years. My blood sugar numbers are fabulous. During the 30 days I was in range 97% of the time with normal blood sugars. My body started feeling better. I had a lot less aches and pains. I found that my energy level was higher. I found I was calmer overall and felt better able to deal with stress and issues. And I was one of the ones that lost really slowly, I think because of the type 1, but it didn't matter. I kept losing anyway. I was amazed at how getting all the preservatives and stuff out of my system made me feel so much better. It was kind of a surprise, but I liked the program enough that I signed up for the follow-up program, and I just kept going, and I've been in the follow-up for almost a month, and I've lost another 6 pounds, and I think 5 or 6 more inches, and my clothes are fitting better. I fit into smaller sizes, and what I'm learning in the program that I can apply to the rest of my life is just amazing. I'm living with a lot more gratitude, feeling a lot more like my body's mine again, and confident that I can do what I need to do, and I can figure out how to avoid things that have messed me up in the past as far as weight and health and fitness. Feeling a lot more fit. I'm able to do more, and I can't say enough positive about it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yes.
Thanks for sharing so many of the benefits. Do you recall back to when you first decided to do the plan? What was the motivation for you? Why did you decide that you wanted to do it and that it was a good time to do it? What was really driving you?
My life felt so out of control. I had never weighed so much. I had never been so out of shape. We'd come off a couple of hard years of a lot of stresses, crises that we didn't expect. And I didn't like the feeling that I just wasn't in control of my body and I didn't know what to do. And because you're my son, I trusted you when you said give it a try. And we had to modify the program a little bit because of my type 1. I had to take that into account with some of the choices I made on the program. But I felt like I needed to do something kind of drastic to reset my life. And I liked that this program offered that, and that there's a lifestyle component to it. It's not just about food. It's not just about what you eat. It's about how you approach how you eat, how you live, how you make decisions.
Awesome. That's great. And you talked about some of your benefits. You mentioned being in range, 97% of the time for your blood sugar, which is huge, not only to allow you to lose weight, but to allow the inflammation in your system to go down too. What was your in range number before that?
About 75%, which is really good. I mean, I always kept my diabetes in really good control, but I was having a lot of low blood sugars all the time. Because I'm kind of brittle, because I've had this for more than 50 years, and I am not anymore. And part of that is my pump is working better, but part of it is just changing the way I eat and getting control of my weight and fitness. I haven't had to treat a low blood sugar in weeks, which
amazing.
It's great, because even if I'm using organic juice, it's still straight sugar.
Right, and it's still inflammation, and it's still weight gain, and all those things. Awesome. When we first started the program, what were you most concerned about going into it? Did you have any kind of underlying fears about it, not working, or that it wouldn't work with your medical conditions? What were your concerns going in?
I I was at that point in my life where I wasn't sure anything would work. I knew that crossing my fingers and hoping I'd lose weight didn't work, so
Yeah.
and so yeah, I was like a lot of people. What if it doesn't work? What if I'm not able to do it, especially because of my health things? Um, I had some fear. I'd never done anything as a group before. In fact, I had avoided it. Um, so I had a little fear about that, but I loved that part. That was one of the best parts because everybody's so encouraging and everybody has their own things. I'm not the only one that has health issues that deals with weight. Surprise, surprise. It was like, wow. And seeing how other people dealt with things and, um, sharing ideas, it was wonderful. That was one of my favorite parts, especially since I didn't have to weigh myself in front of anybody.
Yeah.
So,
Well, no one else wanted to either. So.
I know. So,
Yeah.
so yeah, that was a really nice surprise.
Awesome. And then, yeah, I guess the follow-up was, how far into the program were you when you realized that those concerns were going to be okay?
First meeting,
First meeting?
yeah,
Like before you even started to lose weight?
yeah.
Okay.
And it was just the group.
Yeah.
It was because that first meeting, we did mostly measurements and pictures and stuff, but you had a chance to really talk with people and meet
Yeah.
them. And it was like, wow, we're all here kind of for the same reasons. And, but everybody's different ages and different
Yeah.
things going on. But it's like, oh, okay, this will be an okay group to get started with. It's
Okay. How about that concern you had that it just wouldn't work? When did that start to go
after
away?
my first week, because it I guess for me didn't work was like whether two things, whether I'd be able to keep with it
Yeah.
and also whether I'd lose weight. But that first week I lost a little bit of weight.
Yeah.
And that first week I was able to figure out how to do the restricted food thing. And I didn't have any of the side effects some people get, and I always felt full even though it wasn't that many calories. Um, and so it's like, oh, this is actually working kind of smoothly.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. So that's great. I wanted to ask you too, since you're my mom, I had my eye on all of your health benefits, which I do with all the members now.
Right.
I'm really big into what is it actually you're trying to achieve besides losing weight. Because losing weight is an indication of a healthy system, right?
Right.
It's not necessarily the end goal.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things I was really focused on with you was the swelling in your feet, and then also like the nerve pain that
Yeah.
you're having that was kind of limiting your walking.
Yeah.
Would you mind just kind of touching on that a little bit too?
Sure. My back kind of fell apart a year ago, and it's structural. And it was leading to a lot of nerve pain and, the kind of lightning bolt down your leg kind of nerve pains.
Sciatica, yeah.
Yes. And I wasn't able to walk like I was used to. And for me, walking miles and miles with friends was always one of my favorite things. And I wasn't able to walk more than about a quarter of a mile without real severe nerve pain. And I've dealt with lymphedema in my legs and vascular insufficiency and all that. Since doing this program, I don't have any swelling in my legs. I don't have to use my pump anymore. I had this whole pump thing at home I had to use in my legs. I haven't used it in weeks. And the nerve pain has gone down enough that I've pushed off. They wanted to do steroids injections and things. And I've canceled those. And I walked 1.2 miles the other day without stopping, which is huge for me.
That's awesome.
I was at the point where I could walk like maybe a third of a mile and I'd have to stop and stretch and rest. And yeah, so it's not where I want to be yet, but I'm moving towards that. And part of it is weight loss, but part of it is the inflammation in my body. is it's all working together. It feels like my body's working better. And can't do much better than that. I mean,
Yeah.
it's as we age, it's nice to finally figure out how to make things work better.
Right.
So.
Well, I look at where you're at now, and you've had inflammation under much better control, say for 30 to 45 days.
Right.
And what's the compound effect going to look like in another 30 days,
Right.
60 days,
Right.
90 days?
Well,
I don't want to jinx ourselves, but I would love to see the 1.2 miles go up to
3 or 4 or 5, 6.
right.
Yeah.
Because you talked about stress earlier.
Right.
I mean, if that was one of your main ways to control stress,
Yep.
and now all of a sudden you can't, not only are you not controlling stress, it's a new source of stress.
Right. Well, and that's part of the program that I like, why I'm still continuing in it. There's a lot of lifestyle lessons, and it's about, you don't just look at the food. It's not just what you eat. It's this instinct for how you make choices in your life. About food, about activity, about relationships, about all those things. And I found that all so helpful because it's an attitude. And it's about learning, when you fail, when you make mistakes, how do you learn? How do you apply that? How do you approach life in such a way that it's healthy and fulfilling? And that part, I think, is part of the most helpful as far as stress and stress relief too. And the other part is, as I'm introducing more foods back in this second part, is I'm finding there's foods that I had no idea that don't really sit that well with me. I had no idea. And you talk about inflammation in your body. Turns out milk isn't something that I do real well with very much of. So maybe some aged cheese.
Sounds good.
But it just things like that. Gluten, I don't do that well with. And so getting those things out of my body, this was a really good way for me to figure out what foods maybe I just don't want to have. Which is, that's kind of nice to find that out. So,
yeah, absolutely. Great. Well, I'll just ask you one more question for now. I think this has been awesome. Thanks for sharing so much. If there are people, out in the community or people that you talk to that are, voicing similar frustrations with weight, with energy, with health issues, and maybe they have some of the same concerns you have. They don't think it's going to work, or they don't like the idea of a program. I guess what would you tell them if they're kind of on the fence or they're just frustrated?
I'd really encourage them to go for it. And this has been really life-changing for me. And it surprises me because I did not expect these kinds of benefits. I was hoping to be able to lose weight and afraid because I had so much to lose that it just seemed kind of overwhelming. I have been amazed at all the benefits it's brought to my life. And I would say jump in and give it a try, because you get pretty quick results as far as weight loss. That's really reinforcing.
Yeah.
But there's all the other pieces that I think are even more helpful. And I truly believe I'm about halfway through losing the weight I want to lose. I have no doubt that I'm going to get there. I absolutely know I will. And I have no doubt that I'm going to be able to maintain it the rest of my life. I never used to approach weight loss that way. It was always, I hope.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So I'd really encourage people to jump in and do it, or talk to some more people that have done it. It's been a surprise. Really nice surprise. So thank you, honey.
Awesome.
Thank you for convincing me.
Yes. Well, I will just say it's been so fun for me too, because I had the same concerns you had going in. Would it work? Would it not work? And would it be maintainable with especially with type 1 diabetes? Could it work? I was pretty confident it would, and I was absolutely confident that removing a lot of crap out of your diet would do something.
I didn't
positive.
have that much.
Yeah. I'm not trying to go anywhere, but removing some of the inflammatory type foods,
right?
The gluten, the dairy, the processed food, which you were
Yes.
still pretty good with that. I will say too, to wrap this up, is that, you know, on the surface, not on the surface, but overall, you're a healthy person. And I think that can frustrate people too when they look at their lives and say, well, I'm already pretty healthy. I already don't do this, and I don't do that, and I avoid this, and I try to exercise. And for you to feel stuck, I mean, that's frustrating for a lot of people who
Yep.
are doing a lot of things right. But I think what they need is they need a reset. They need absolutely to kick the whole system into
Yep.
a really high health state
Yep.
quickly.
Yep.
And they need, like you said, the reinforcement of losing weight. Within the first 2 days, people start to lose weight. Within the first 2 weeks, they start to notice the health benefits. Or for you, the swelling in your feet went away like on day 3 or something.
Yeah.
I mean, so that helps them too, because it can be so mentally exhausting
Mm-hmm.
to feel like you're doing a lot of things well and you're still not reaching your goals.
Right.
And then you start to throw in the towel. And we were so close to doing injections with you.
Yep.
Both Dad and I are PTs, for those who don't know.
Yep.
Both of us are saying, you're at the point where you need injections.
Yep.
Like, we've done everything we can, except for this.
Yep.
So I'm happy too.
Me too.
All right.
Okay.
All right. Well, thank you so much for sharing your experience. Obviously, I'll leave notes for anyone who wants to get in touch with me and learn more about the program. So,
Okay.
all right. Thank you.
All right. You bet.